Hello, and welcome back to the Dungeons & Dragons Podcast UK. My name is Yasmin, and I will be the DM.
Hi, my name's Colin, and I play Cuin de Greymont, a paladin from Gavany.
Hi, I'm Spencer. I play Caddo Chasseur, a cleric also from Gavany.
Hi, I'm Brian, and I play Ogvar Surefoot, a ranger from Kessig.
Hi, my name is Samantha, and I play Elora Greyvale, a sorcerer from Nephalia.
Last time, on Secrets of the Silver City, after leaving the services of Leopold Lemur, the team trundled into the guild to gather their gold for contracts that they had completed. Elora puffed her perfume at a crabby clerk after a particularly prickly exchange over Cuin's smelly sack. Regardless of this, what followed was some refreshment, repast and rest, which lightened the mood substantially and was well received by all. Caddo and Cuin split off from the rest of the group as they stepped out onto the Selhoff streets for a shopping spree, with weapons and armour at the top of their acquisitions list. Meanwhile, Ogvar and Elora clearly had a different destination in mind. An enthused Esther, accompanied by an anguished Arvis, elected to stay in situ, and so our two lovely ladies were left to enjoy a somewhat alcoholic afternoon with an open bar tab, thus begging the question, what could possibly go wrong? Episode 61, Navigation Nik-Naks and Item Enquiries.
Let's go find a bishop. Bishop's normally good for a bit of food and booze as well. Right.
So, as you're kind of going on your way and starting to make your way, you're going to buy some things for yourself, aren't you?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so what are you buying?
I happened to pass the sort of shop that strikes me that it sells stuff that would be useful.
Okay.
So I nipped in. I bought myself a healing belt,
Okay.
some everlasting rations,
Right.
because I'm getting fat on pastries, and 2 fountainhead bolts, which go on my crossbow, which I have to store slightly carefully because obviously they're full of acid. Some normal crossbow bolts, because most of those are currently in a sea element body in the river.
Yep.
Silvered ones, yes. And that's it. That's it. So I bought those on the way.
Yep, so you've both been you bought some armour, bought some, more protective items, bought some healing stuff.
Compass repair.
Food, fountainhead bolts. Is there anything else you're wanting to do?
Compass repair.
Okay. You wanted to repair your compass.
Yes.
Right. So, how would you like to go about doing that?
Well, we're in a port city, aren't we?
Yes.
So I'm going to guess I can find a chandler's.
Yes. You can probably find one quite easily.
One I'm guessing who specialises in navigational tools.
Yeah, so there's a very kind of dingy shop, you could say. It's almost kind of squeezed in between 2 other shops. It looks like, had it not been there, it would have been a perfectly viable alley. Otherwise, it's just a very narrow shop.
Yep.
And in the front window, you can see this kind of, if I say bottle-based glass, it's kind of like very small square panels with these kind of circular...
Yeah, the ones you mean?
Yeah, little circular kind of thickenings in it. And you can just kind of see through this kind of distorted view, you can see things like decorative kind of globes, decorative spyglasses, small bits of other kind of ocular instruments, so glasses, telescopes, spyglasses. You can see things like sextants of all kind of size on shelves, and it's very dark in there, so you are kind of like craning and peering into and like just trying to make out behind the warping and distortion. But you can see a lot of kind of seafaring equipment, a lot of kind of... It's very everything in there is very tinkery, if you get what I mean. It's very things you can fiddle with, clockwork, things with kind of like that kind of clockwork drive behind it.
Kewin, this looks like a good shop. Let's go and have a look in here.
Okay.
Right, I'm in.
Okay, so you walk in and it is, I mean, the doorway, it's probably about twice as wide as the doorway in total, this shop. It's immensely narrow. And all up the sides...
Does he fit?
Just. He's gonna have to be a bit light on his feet though. As you actually walk in, you can see that it is lit. It's quite a tall vaulted ceiling actually for the room. And you can see that high above you, there's almost like this kind of candelabra chandelier affair, which is got lit by candles. And when you look up, you can see these kind of towering side units filled with all kinds of little like apothecary drawers. And you can see like little hand scribbled labels, and the closest ones to you, they kind of read like gears AB, gears C, and you can see they're all like individually labelled gears, bits of brass, all like components individually labelled in these little slots. And I mean, you can see little tables, you see little spindly tables, and they are spindly, like they're quite small, quite thin on top, and then they've got the thinnest possible legs, which are just balanced really precariously. But you can see some of the most beautiful kind of clockworks, carriage clocks on the wall. Just everything kind of timepiece related. You can see little pocket watches, everything in there. It's all this really fine, fiddly work.
What a great shop, Kewin. Have you ever been in somewhere like this before?
No, it's not really my sort. I'm more used to things that cause damage rather than.
Well, I'm tempted to do some extra shopping. So I'm going to go up to the counter.
Yep.
Man, lady.
Behind the counter, there is an older, very old gentleman. He looks squat with age. He's got very kind of gnarled, wrinkled hands. You can see he's currently tinkering with something very fine, and where he's got all of his knuckles, you can see the knuckles themselves are quite bulbous in comparison to the rest of his hands. They're very thin, spider-like. You can see all the veins sticking out, and almost papery, translucent skin. And he's got in his hands two very, very fine, almost kind of screwdrivers, the type which are just like a very thin stick, which you just very gently turn between the two fingers. And he's currently bent right over this item on the desktop, which when you look closer, it turns out to be a pocket watch. The back's flipped open, and you can see all the gears, and they're very neatly laid out across this length of cloth, this silken length of cloth. And he's got a candle burning right by him with almost like a gas lamp, but a candle, so it's got this glass around it. And he's got these spectacles on, and you can see his spectacles, they've got all of these little lenses which are flipped up, some of them are flipped down, and occasionally he taps with his thumb on one of them and flips another lens down over the one eye. But he's just very intently focusing on this work, just gently spinning screws in the back of this clock, this little pocket watch.
Okay. In which case, I think what I'm going to go with... Excuse me!
Hey! What in the...
Oh, I'm sorry.
Devil.
I'm sorry. I'm terribly sorry. Sorry, I thought you hadn't heard me. I don't know why, but I got this impression you couldn't hear me. Sorry.
He kind of looks at you, turns back to his work, turns this little screwdriver once more, puts everything down by the side, and goes, "How can I help you?"
I'm so great. It's so brilliant I found you, because you strike me as the sort of person that's actually going to be able to help me, and I've been looking all kinds of places. So I've got this. I was given this by my father many years ago. And can you see the beast of a man behind me? He managed to break it. And it needs fixing.
Right, well, pass it over.
So I'm not quite sure. I'm not. Hang on, I'm not letting go of it yet. I'm not entirely sure of the level of the damage, but is it First question: is it repairable?
Pass it over, and he pulls out of a drawer in this desk in front of him. And when you actually look, you can see that it's almost like a U-shaped desk, but you can see that this desk itself is filled with these tiny other drawers as well. He pulls a drawer out and slides on some white gloves, takes the compass from you, and he begins inspecting it. He pulls it closer to the light, leaning towards the light. And again, he starts off with the lenses just flicking the lenses up and down and these glasses on each side of on each eye, and you see him kind of close one eye and peer intently down at this compass, and he starts moving bits and he starts opening it up and taking a look at the compass itself. Yes. Well, I don't know what kind of damage has been caused internally. What happened to it?
I believe it fell out of a tree.
What the devil was it doing in a tree?
It's quite a long story, and my friends didn't explain it in great depth.
Never mind, I don't actually care. So he looks and he goes, well, glass is cracked. That's easy enough to replace. I'd have to look at the internals. It's going to take me a little longer. You can stand there and stare at me while I do it, or you could leave it with me.
How long are we talking?
A couple of hours. It wouldn't take long to look at it, but
Okay.
I mean, if it's as bad as it might be, and he kind of lifts it to his ear and showing all lack of care which he's previously shown, he goes, "Ch-ch-ch-ch-ch." He goes, it sounds a bit broken.
Okay. As you can tell, I'm a man of the cloth, so I'm not overly wealthy. Could you give me an estimate? Or have you got something stuck in your throat? Are you all right?
35 gold, perhaps. Possibly less. Not any more than that.
Brilliant. In which case, I quite like that idea of you fixing it. Although I love your shop anyway. I notice you sell telescopes
Yes.
and spyglasses.
Yes.
How much is a spyglass?
It depends really on what you have, the opticals and the specifications and the casings
I don't need anything particularly posh, just something that would give me the ability to see some way into the distance.
Well, use your eyes. You've got young eyes.
I went further into the distance. You are selling this shit, aren't you?
That's a museum.
I know, I've mistaken the eyeglass museum.
You actually walked into the BBC repair shop.
Yeah, that's what I've done. Yeah.
1,000 gold pieces.
Yeah, they're about 1,000, yeah.
What? I'm not buying one.
They're very expensive.
I'm not buying one of them then.
Well, for a spyglass, a half decent one, it's probably about 1,000 gold.
Oh, excellent. Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
They look excellent on the shelf. It's probably the best place to leave them. And how about a pocket watch? How much is a pocket watch?
not as much. 50 gold, perhaps, if you have a decent silver-cased embossed one. Just a cheap model.
Kewin, does any of us own a watch?
A watch? What do you need one of those for?
Telling the time, you buffoon.
Well, just...
We do spend a lot of our
usually
time
go
trying to
on,
remember what time of day it is.
Yeah, we usually go on... used to go on Caddo's stomach, He's always eating, so we just go by that. But
Yeah, can you do one with a face?
It's usually I just go from well, that's enough. I'm going to have my lunch. That's enough. I'm going to break for tea. That's it. That's all I go by.
You, sir, are a barbarian.
Have you got one with a face?
Thank you.
Which has got marked on it: breakfast, second breakfast, lunch, afternoon tea, dinner, supper, snack.
What the devil would I have one of those for? No.
Well, it remind me when I've got to eat. That's all. No? Okay,
No.
never mind. In which case, we'll just go for the compass repair. I've got to go and see the bishop.
Okay.
If I pop back after?
Depending on how long you take, but then you wouldn't know since you don't have a watch.
Well, I'm hoping he's going to offer me afternoon tea, so...
Yes.
Okay, brilliant. Well, I'll be back. With
Okay.
the big fella.
Right, off you go. Shoo.
Super,
Well,
thank you. Right, Kewin, it appears we're done.
Yeah, okay. Awesome.
Brilliant. Okay, off to the cathedral, fella? Yeah, happy to
Okay.
head up to the cathedral?
Yeah. No
Super.
problem.
Okay, so you're going out the shop, yeah?
Yeah, we're leaving
You hear a
said...
vague screech of, watch that table, as you go.
Ah!
Oh, we didn't get his name. Never mind.
You were the one talking to him.
Yeah, I know, he upset me.
So, now, zooming cinematically over to Ogvar and Elora. Okay, so, Ogvar, you've sold some bits.
I have.
You've sold your sapphire,
Yes.
your dust of illusion.
I have, yes.
Okay. And you've also bought some bits.
Yes, I've bought a rope of stone. And I've bought some blessed bandages. And the final purchase were some gloves of agile striking.
Okay, so you've been into kind of like a more kind of magically orientated shop. Someone selling kind of magic trinkets, this, that, and the other. Elora, you also with Ogvar, I'm assuming you've sold some of the goodies out of Orland.
Yes, out of Orland, I sold the Endure Elements potion, the vial of clear breath, a scroll of caltrops, and some panpipes of sounding. Oh, and also there was a masterworked set of, was it a
Full plate.
Full plate as well.
Okay, so have you bought anything for yourself, Elora, or are you refraining so far?
No, Elora would have stopped into a jewellery shop at some point along the way, and I don't know, would she have purchased it or would she have had to have ordered it? She wants a small silver fiddle worth at least, it has to be worth at least 30 gold pieces. It's part of a component for a spell.
Okay, so let's just kind of run through that one. So as you're walking down the street, you've just been in, you've just sold some bits, Dust of Illusion, your sapphire.
Mm-hmm.
They took the sapphire at the magic shop because it's quite useful to them as a component part.
Okay.
And you've bought yourself some other bits and bobs, and you've sold some more magical stuff to them. As you're walking down the street, Laura, there is a shop which catches your eye. The shop itself has this kind of olive green painted facade on the front, like all the painting around this large window. And as you're looking through the window, nearly everything in the shop is silver.
Right. Ogvar, hang on a minute. Wait up.
Okay.
Can we just pop into this shop here? It's got lots of silvered stuff in it, and I'm looking for something specific.
Okay, I see no reason why not.
Right, just push the door open, go into the shop, and have a quick look around as she's walking through the shop.
Okay. As you enter the shop, you hear a little ding-a-ling-a-ling of a bell. Little kind of silvery sound of a bell. And there's a middle-aged woman stood behind the counter. She goes, "Oh, hello, welcome to the Silvered Seal."
Oh, hello. Hi. Yeah, I'm looking for something really specific, and you seem to have lots of silvered items. It needs to be a silvered item.
Well, silver's all we do.
Oh, well, that's really good. I don't know whether you would have it. It's quite specific, but if you don't have it, I'd really like to have one made if that's possible. I need a small silver fiddle. Like in the shape of a little silver fiddle.
Okay, give me one moment. I think I've seen... And she turns around and she begins to wander through the shop. The shop itself, as you walked in, it's got shelves. So you walk straight up to the counter, and each side of you there are rows of shelves. And you can see they're just kind of freestanding shelves, and they're stacked all the way around with products. And she walks past you, hustles past you. She's wearing like a long dress and an apron, and you can see she's got some kind of like black smudges on her apron. You can see where she's been polishing silver. And she walks past you and she kind of bowls, cutlery, statues, and as she talks to herself, kind of pointing down different aisles, and you can see as she looks down the aisle, she's just pointed out that yes, it's crammed with plates, platters, soup bowls, fish dish, you know, all these kind of different items, and it's just a bric-a-brac of everything silver.
Laura's just going to call after and say, it doesn't have to be very big.
Oh, okay, dearie. And she gets down this, and she goes, here we go. And she turns down the aisle, and you see the swish of her dress as she turns quickly and briskly down the aisle. And as you follow her, because I'm assuming you're going to follow her.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll just trail behind.
She goes, right, musical instruments. And as you walk down this aisle, you can see that there are all sorts of trinkets here. And, I mean, the one little section, it's full of musical items. And when she says musical items, she doesn't mean like full-sized items. What she's referring to is a selection of these kind of miniature little kind of almost dollhouse furniture, which is all silvered. And, you know, there's this entire section of like little silver dressing table, chairs for doll houses, everything you can imagine to fit in a dollhouse, all in silver. And she takes, she's kind of looking up to the shelves, kind of trailing her finger along the shelf edge. Here we go. And she pulls off the shelf a miniature, kind of the size of maybe her little pinky tip, silver fiddle.
Oh, that's perfect.
And this little silver fiddle, attached to it, there's almost like a hole through the top of the scroll on this little fiddle. And hanging off it on a very fine silver chain is a bow. Little bow, silver bow.
Oh, that's really pretty. Is the little hole on the top of it, can I get that onto a bracelet? Have you got a small silver bracelet?
Not one that small, perhaps,
Oh.
but I mean, you should be able to get it mounted at a jeweller's.
It's fine, that'll do as it is. That's ideal. How much would that one be?
Okay, if I can just squeeze past you. And she bustles past you, back up to her till. And she opens up this big, thick tome, boom, onto the desk. And she turns it over. So there's clearly like a little number or something which is stuck onto it. And she flips through the pages. She goes, oh, right, okay, that's 40 gold pieces for that one.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's exactly what I'm looking for. So Elora hands over, obviously shuffles around in her back pocket, pulls out some money and pays her the 40 gold pieces.
Okay. And what's your favourite colour, dearie? Red, green, blue, purple?
Well, I quite like purple, actually.
Okie dokie. She pulls open her desk drawer, pulls out a little purple velveteen bag, drops it in there, pulls the little ties tight and goes, there we go, dear.
Oh, that's perfect. Thank you very much for that. This is this is perfect. I didn't even look at the name. What was the name on your shop?
The Silvered Seal.
The Silver Seal. I'll remember that. Thank you very much.
No worries, dearie. Have a good day.
Yeah, and you as well.
Okay.
And then Laura will make her way back out to the road and, out onto the street with Ogvar, and she'll just wave her little purple velvet pouch and say, I got what I wanted, Ogvar.
Oh, excellent. It's
I'm
a successful shopping trip.
Open the top and just show him this little silver fiddle. I need this for my spells. Isn't it pretty?
It's an odd thing to require.
Yes, I know. I won't go into it right now.
Cool.
Drop it back on the pouch, do the pouch back up, and she's going to tuck it away
Okay.
in the side pocket of her backpack or something.
Okie dokie. Right, was there anything else you wanted to do, Elora? Or Ogvar, for that matter?
Yeah.
No, she's going to turn to Ogvar just before they move off and say, I know there's a couple of things we need to do. I need to go, I've got a couple of scrolls. I need to go to somebody who can do some magical appraisal because, well, I looked at them and I couldn't figure out exactly what they did.
Oh, okay.
So it might be useful to know, and then we can decide whether to keep them or sell them maybe. I know you need to go and get your gem appraised. We need to get that looked at.
Yes, I think that will be possibly the same location.
And I also had one other small idea. Don't know what you think. Do you remember when Caddo mentioned about... Well, he was joking about getting some armour for Orland, like some little chainmail or something. I'm going to whisper to him. Do you remember how excited Orland was about that?
I do believe I recall it, yes.
Yeah, well, what do you think?
I'm sure we could find something, yes.
Well, let's do that as a bit of a side thing if we pass somewhere that we see. But
Okay.
yeah, I thought that just kind of might be nice.
He might be able to alter maybe a small child's chainmail.
Yeah, something like that. Just something to overlay, or even, just something. I don't know.
Okay, sounds feasible.
Okay. Seeing as we've both got things to appraise, should we go and find somewhere that can do these things for us?
Yes, I think so.
Well, I'll tell you what. You lead the way, and I'll follow.
Okay. So Ogvar will endeavour to find a shop where we can get some magical items appraised.
Okay. So you come eventually to a shop. It's kind of tucked away by a bookshop itself. But there's like a handwritten sign in the window which declares appraisals 20 gold a piece, no appraisal, no fee.
Which looks like it may well be the place. Elora?
That looks like it might be useful, yeah. Do you want to...
I think we
Shall we?
should go inside and see
let's...
see what's about.
Yeah, let's do that.
So, yeah, Ogvar will walk in.
Okay, so you walk in and it's there's quite a few what look like magical items. They seem to be doing things. I mean, there's like little. There's a little strange little contraption which has got like a central gem, and then it appears to have other gems spinning around it at set paces. It's very odd to you. But there's other bits of magical.
Where is that thing in particular? Is it on a shelf?
It's just on a shelf. There's bits of tables, little kind of tables with spinning, whizzing objects on it, objects making noise.
What happens if Ogvar just puts his finger in and just stops one of the gems as it's going round?
You stop a gem.
Okay. Does it go again?
Yeah, I mean, you let go and it just kind of whizzes round faster to catch up to its original position.
Oh, that's interesting.
Well, yes. Never seen one of those before.
No.
Okay. But I mean, it's full of these kind of weird, fun little magical items. There's no real purpose for them that you can detect other than to simply be interesting to the eye.
Okay.
Gadget store.
Okay. When you kind of wander around looking, you see a fairly youngish woman sat behind a table. It's a table covered with a purple cloth, smoking on a pipe.
Okay. Ogvar will walk up and dump down the apothecary supplies in front of the thing, so he's tired of having it on his shoulder.
Okay.
Hello there.
Good morning.
Good morning. I understand you are in the business of appraising items.
Yes, I mean, I can give you a free appraisal on that. It's a bag.
Oh no, not the bag. No, it's a different matter entirely.
Right.
The item in question is, and Ogvar will like rummage in his pockets and pull out a few twigs and an acorn and a bit of old bread. No, oh no, here it is. And he pulls out the small green gem which Murdoch brought to him when he met him.
Okay, that seems a bit more like it. Right, let me see. Have you done any previous appraisals on this item?
Well, I did try. I took it to a jeweller's. The first instinct was it was nothing more than a gem, but it were fruitless, to say the least, and he suggested I find someone who could be more adept in identifying magical items.
Right, okay, well let's take a look, shall we? She puffs on the pipe a couple more times, tears it upside down, taps it out into an ashtray by her side, and then rests the pipe on like a little, obviously it's designed to be a pipe stand. She takes the little stone, puts it on the table in front of her, and she begins to stare very intently at it. Elora, you can actually both tell that she is indeed casting a spell.
Okay.
You can indeed see she's kind of muttering under her breath very quietly, and her hands are kind of making these kind of very soft, sweeping, kind of probing motions almost.
Can I make an Arcana check to see if I know what it is she's doing?
Yeah, make me an Arcana check.
Okay. Yeah, no, move on.
Was it worth it?
It wasn't a 1. It was just really low.
Tell me what it was.
It was a 9. Hang on.
Knowledge Arcana.
Yeah, so I'm just looking at that. Oh, no, actually. No, it's 16. It's more than I thought.
Yeah, you can tell, just from kind of looking at her, that although she's using slightly different hand motions, and she's obviously muttering very quietly under her breath, you can tell that she is actually casting Detect Magic.
Oh.
The same spell that you cast upon the gem.
Oh. Okay, Laura's just going to stay quiet and frown slightly. Watch intently.
Yep. She casts the spell, and she focuses on it for a good minute or so, really intently, and you can tell that as time passes, her expression almost becomes more frustrated, and she's really kind of intently. Her stare seems to get more intense. She appears to lean closer to the gem itself, and she, after her spell, she stops muttering, she stops moving her hands. She kind of huffs in frustration almost, and well, I must say it's clearly magical. There's a very strong magical aura.
Oh, excellent.
I can't for the life of me tell you what it is, unfortunately. I have no idea.
Oh, that's not exactly what I wanted to hear, but thank you very much for trying either way, I must admit. Slightly disappointed. So, would you by any chance happen to know anyone who may be able to help in this situation?
Not particularly. I mean, it's quite a strange object.
Elora's chewing her bottom lip in thought at this point.
Okay.
Well, if that's all you can do for it, then I suppose it's back in the pocket.
She picks up a pipe, restuffs it, puffs on it a bit, gets it going.
I have a couple of items. Would you be willing to have a go at appraising those for me?
Of course.
Right, so, Orland, could you pass me... actually, I'll have a shuffle and see if I can find them. So,
Yeah.
I'll have a shuffle around and I pull out one potion, one flask, and I'm going to pull the feather token out of my hat.
Okay. Right.
And I'm going to lay those on the counter.
Okay.
So, I've acquired these items, but I'm not quite sure what they are, what they do. I've
Okay.
not seen them before.
Okay. So.
I mean, I've seen a feather token, but I don't know what this one is.
Okay. So she takes the items, and again she starts this muttering and kind of poking, probing motion with her hands, and it isn't too long before she tells you, right? Why that potion there? It's a potion of magic fang, I believe.
Oh, potion of magic fang. Okay. Does she tell me the properties?
She says, well, magic fang, it would give you a weapon, natural weapon of your, so, you know, give you a bite, or a fist, or something, you know, just a natural weapon, really. It just gives you a bit of an enhancement on your blows. That feather, that's a token anchor.
Oh. Okay.
And this liquid here is quite curious. I believe it to be ghost oil.
Oh. Ghost oil.
Yes, ghost oil.
Right.
And only ever seen it a couple of times before, but I reckon I'm fairly sure that's what it is.
Okay, presumably she tells me the properties of these, what they do.
Yeah, she'll tell you.
Okay, alright. Cool. Well, okay, thank you for that. How much do I owe you?
20 gold, please.
20 gold, right. Okay.
Yep.
So she hands her over 20 gold.
Yep. She picks the pipe back up on the pipe. Okay, so is there anything else?
No, I think that's all I needed. Do you sell magic items?
Occasionally, yes.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Thank you very much. No, that's all I think for today. Thank you.
Okay. Right, so, are you leaving the shop? Yep.
Yeah.
I do believe so, yeah. And Ogvar will pick the sack of supplies up.
Yep. So is that your next? Are you going to start looking for the tins tinctures next? Is that your next stop, or?
I think so, we've got to get rid of it, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so going back to Cadeau and Kewin.
We're off to the cathedral.
Yes?
Okay.
I assume it's a fairly obvious spot, the cathedral.
So, it's not so much a cathedral in Selhoff as it is a standard kind of sized church, albeit a bit taller. When you, as you're going uphill, you're beginning to get into this kind of wealthier housing area. You're not as far up as you're starting to hit these big noble houses, but you're getting there. And it's kind of in the upper middle part of the city where you come across the Church of Avacyn. You can clearly see it. It's denoted by the tall spire which has the symbol of Avacyn on top. And there are several big white banners with the symbol of Avacyn stitched in silver hanging both from the spire, but also as in like wall drapings hanging outside the building itself, on the building itself. Again, it's made of this very dark coloured stone. What would you like to do?
Well, enter the building.
Okay, so you enter the building. As you go in, you can see that it's a very big area. It's got this big cavernous roof, and it's also very empty.
Oh, excellent. Is there an obvious altar at the far end?
There is an altar at the far end, yes.
Okay, in which case I shall... is it set up like a normal church? Am I walking straight down a chancery to...
Yeah.
Okay, so straight down the central chancery, and I shall supplicate myself in front of the altar in standard face plant fashion.
Okay.
And spend a brief moment praying, as is my wont.
Okay.
I shall. Oh, right, okay. That's East West. There you go. Yes, I shall do a quick pray.
Anybody about? Is anybody going to come and speak to me while I'm supplicated?
Okay. So you're sat there for about a minute before you hear the definite clunk of a door opening, and it does echo in this cavernous space. You hear this clunk of a bolt lifting and dropping again. And then you begin to hear some very slow, shuffling footsteps.
I'm going to stay supplicated until whoever it is appears. Oh, I want them to recognise my piousness.
Okay.
I'm not. I'm going to be. I've done my praying. That's. What? Hey, kiddo. Someone coming.
Well, find yourself a comfy pew. I'll be done in a minute.
Okay. So you hear a very aged, wizened voice ring out in the empty space. Hello there, whippersnapper.
Right, so I shall raise myself to the kneeling position.
Yep.
And turn to the voice.
Okay.
What does this chap look like?
You can see quite a tall man. He's probably about 6 foot tall. He's very clearly old and aging. He has. When you look at his face, the first thing that really jumps out is that he has these impressively bushy eyebrows. I mean, they are like 2 hairy corn dogs on his face. They are these massive hairy things, and they kind of droop low over his eyes, alongside like his skin, because he's obviously got these very big wrinkles, kind of rolling wrinkles on his face, and they kind of hang over his eyes and droop over his eyes in this big kind of fluffy monobrow mess.
Nice. Okay. Would I recognise his robes? Would I be able to tell his rank from his robes?
Yeah. So he's wearing these floor-length white robes, creamy white robes, made of a very thick fabric, not just kind of your standard kind of priest kind of cloth, like Muslim kind of cloth. They're made of a very thick fabric, and they're accompanied with this big thick overcoat, again made of this beautiful fabric and beaded silver embroidery. And he's also got this big long big long silver scarf which kind of trails down to his knees, embroidered in gold with the symbol of Avicen. Looking at him, you'd probably be very easy to tell you, especially with a name already to put to the face, that this is Bishop Gerhard Hermann.
Excellent. It's the afternoon by now, isn't it? Good afternoon, sir. I believe, are you the bishop?
That would be me, Gerhard Hermann. Please call me Gerhard, I don't really mind.
Gerhard, it's a pleasure to meet you, and it's wonderful to be in your magnificent church. I've been missing the church for weeks, a proper quiet space in which to pray. So thank you.
Well, quite a pleasure, whippersnapper.
I'm currently escorting some adventurers who, in fact, our leader's sat over there on the pew. He's very kindly come to the church with me because we got involved with the water elemental on a ferry the other day, and managed to vanquish it and save all the passengers on a ferry, who, in thanks, had a whip round, and therefore I've got some collection monies to give you.
He gives you this very sly smile, and you can see, looking at his face, he's got this very devious twinkle in his eyes. He's not being fooled by much.
Okay, so first of all, there's this eyeball.
Oh, how wonderful.
And some bones.
Okay.
It's all the people had.
I mean, everything is graciously accepted by Avison.
And then this small bag of monies.
Oh, well, a small bag of money shall definitely be graciously accepted by Avison.
Excellent. I didn't count it, but I believe it has been counted. But I'm sure you'll count it again. So anyway, there you are. I just wondered if there was any chance of a small blessing before I continue on my way.
Yes, well, I'm sure we can see to that. Come and sit with me over here, whippersnapper. I'm not young anymore.
My pleasure.
And he leads you over to where Quinn is sat and sits down. And he looks at you and he goes, right, well, not many people make their way down to Selhoff without purpose, so what are you whippersnappers doing here?
We were just travelling through, but we escorted some wagons down here, and oh yes, and got a few bits. Oh, and had a good old fight with a troll, chopped its head off. Ha!
Is that what you whippersnappers are into these days? Chopping trolls' heads off?
Well, they are evil, so you know. Saved a nice little village.
Oh, how wonderful.
Yes, isn't it?
I'm sure you are truly blessed by Absent.
So, Bishop Gerhard, is there any news of the church that you could update me on?
Well, not particularly. The church has very little sway over Selhoff these days.
Is that because the people are unbelievers?
No, not so much that they're unbelievers. I mean, everyone has to believe in something, and I suppose Avison takes over most of people's lives, especially with the darkness of these times. But it's always been that way, hasn't it? No, the church's power in Selhoff has been greatly diminished as of late.
So, is this? I haven't had a lot of experience of them, but we met some on the path a while back. This new sect that's come to the fore. Have you had any problems with them?
Skurstag.
That's the ones, yeah.
They're not exactly new, I wouldn't say, whippersnapper. They've been around a while, but I have my suspicions, I suppose. But nobody travels through Selhoff, so where is it you are headed to, and why are you heading there, whippersnapper?
Oh, off down to Genric's Tower.
Why would that be?
Just to, get him to have a look at something.
So I suppose you're the ones Mikaeus sent, are you?
Oh, so you do know.
I am a bishop, whippersnapper. I do have some privileges here.
Oh, okay. Well, yes.
So, I mean, I would offer you aid if I could. However, that is a little difficult as of late. I suppose I should probably explain to you the church's circumstances in Selhoff. Many years ago, I was good friends with Nik-Naks, the previous city lord. At that time, power was balanced within Selhoff, the church and the city working in tandem to promote a better way of life for its whippersnappers. Nicholas, the dear old fellow, he was quite the idealist, lovely fellow, but he was never blessed by Avison with children. Not until his later years. I think he was 52 when he had his child, his son. And ever since then, throughout the past decade, really, and the final years of his life before his death last year, he was 80 odd when he died, his attitude became more erratic and tyrannical. He started expanding and displaying his power in ways that I'd never seen him display it before. He became quite cold in his temperament, and he spent considerable amounts of his wealth and the city's wealth on building up his house and his aristocracy. He began to become more invested in the politics rather than the people. And I have my beliefs. I will not voice them out loud because, well, it is best not to nowadays. But his son is now 28, and in the past decade he's become more of a thorn in the side of the church, you could say. And I believe he had some influence, undue influence, over his father. He was so desperate for a child.
What's the son's name, Bishop?
Well, he named his son Arthur. Arthur Axum, current city lord. He was such a sweet boy, at least I thought he was. He seems to have taken a position of direct opposition to the church. He seems almost hell-bent on eradicating our presence. We've had all sorts of troubles here. I mean, Selhoff never was particularly influenced by the church being so far away from Thraben and the seat of power itself. But we always had a good relation with the people, with the young whippersnappers in the area. But it seems to have deteriorated. There are more and more rumours going round that, people no longer attend services. There was supposed to be one this lunchtime, but I mean, look around you. Do you see any truly faithful believers around you?
No, it's quite a saddening sight, isn't it, Bishop? That the church is so empty.
I do believe that there are believers. There is nothing that people would not believe in, but I do not know why they do not come. I think there is something else going on behind the scenes here, and I'm far too old to really be taking part in politics at the moment. Look at me, I'm 85, I'm geriatric, and I'm old. I would support you if I could. Do not mistake me not helping you as it being that I do not want to help you, but more that I cannot help you. This church was once blessed with many artifacts of power. But, however, as the moon wanes, so does my power here. There have been rats running through our vaults, and I have no doubt about who their master is. As a member of the clergy, I cannot request anything of good law-abiding citizens other than they stay as such. However, if they were to dedicate themselves to upholding Yavsin's honour, then our Blessed Lady shall surely reward them as she sees fit. Of course, here in Selhoff there are many wells of information to explore, but most of them are sourced underground.
And do you have any specific news of Genric?
No, I take no real interest in the affairs of wizards.
Well, Kieran, that was a lot to take in, wasn't it?
And as you look at him, he appears to have fallen asleep in the pew.
What do you think, Kieran? That's quite a revelation, isn't it?
Yes, I'd say that we need to tell everybody about this, because we may need to do some sorting out here before we get to Genric's.
Well, and it seems to imply that we can find out more information about the information we need to know for your quest, but not from him.
Yes.
Somewhere underground.
I wonder if that's the underground arena.
Well, I was thinking more of some sort of underground religious network, but you could be right.
Well, yes, I don't know. You know as much as me. You know, I thought that might be able to get some underground, or does he mean literally underground? And we go
Under
down
the
in
ground?
in the old crypts. Bless you.
I
Yes.
that in.
Bit of the bishop's fallen off his pew.
I hope that came up top, not down below.
Well, yeah, indeed. Indeed. I think you're right. We've got to go and tell the others, haven't we? Even if we're going to explore the crypts, he's inferred that there's things down there that I'm not sure you and I want to take on our own.
Well, yeah, I think we might have a go.
Yep.
But get the old the gang together, shall we say?
Yep. Back to the guild.
Yes.
I mean, we're going to be here for a couple of days because we've got to wait for my armour.
Yes, I suppose. Yes. Very true. Very true.
Back to the guild it is then. Back to the guild.
I could try it. My new sword.
Should we leave him asleep?
Yes, poor fellow. You know, maybe leave a little note saying, thank you.
I'm just going to put a cushion under his feet for
Yes,
him.
thank you. Hopefully see you soon. Sort things out. Ha! Tatty-ho!
Okay, I shall note that down.
Yep. You can both make me spot check.
Oh, please don't let him have died. God, I'm nailing them today. 6. No, sorry, 7. 7.
Oh no.
Nat 20.
Oh, excellent. Well done, you.
Kieran, as you're kind of speaking and to Caddo, you can see that although his chest is rising up and down, when you look at his face, you see one of these bushy monobrows quirked up and a single bright blue eye kind of looking at between the two of you. And as he looks at you and makes eye contact, the eyebrow comes slamming back down.
I don't know if he's actually asleep, you know. He's one eyebrow. You know.
Well, let's leave him to rest at least.
Okay, we'll leave him a note, you know. There you go. Bit of a note. He sounds like Ogvar.
He does a bit, doesn't he?
Yeah. Or is it Elora?
Well, they're as bad as each other, to be fair.
Well, yes. True.
Back to the guild?
Yes. Off we go.
Yeah, I can feel afternoon tea coming on.
With the cleric's rent armour proving to be a write-off and Kewin sporting a nice new shiny sword, the two traipsed to the church to track down the bishop. They learned of city structure, a downturn in devotees, long-lost artefacts and rats with masters before making their trip back to the guild. Elora spends some coin on a small silver fiddle, and together with Ogvar, the pair attempt to acquire appraisals on some of their personal possessions, with some success. Ogvar's green gem, however, remains a mystery yet to be solved, and soon they too return to seeking the respite of the guild.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. Having you as a listener means everything to us. So, whichever streaming service you choose to listen to us with, please give us a like, subscribe and follow. We would love for you to join us on our Facebook or Twitter page, where you can catch up with all of our latest news. While you're waiting for the next episode of Secrets of the Silver City, why not pop over to our website, where you can read all of the information about this campaign, from backstories to setting. All of the links are in the bio of this episode. Join us again next week for the next instalment. Thank you for listening.